Hello and welcome to Armless Art Studio vlog number 25. My name is Noah. I'm the owner of Armless Art LLC, and I create art with my feet, particularly my right one. In honor of this 25th installment of Armless Art Studio vlog, I'd like to do things a little bit differently this week. Instead of taking you behind the scenes of my creative process, I'd rather just sit and talk about kind of what I'm going through as a creative, because if you've been following along, the 25th studio vlog was supposed to happen last week, and in my mind I had built it up to be some big milestone or something that I was supposed to have something big planned for. But the truth is, when I got to the 25th week, I had nothing left in my creative well. I'd simply burned out. So each passing day I would tell myself, you don't have an idea now, but maybe it'll come to you tomorrow. Just give yourself time. So I gave myself time, took some time off, I played some computer games, I perused my phone and scrolled until I couldn't scroll anymore, because I was just seeing the same things over and over again. So then I'd go into myself and just kind of listen to my internal dialogue, which isn't very nice to me, especially in times of burnout. It's telling me things like, you can't do it, see, you don't have anything big planned for your 25th installment, you can't do a studio vlog, you can't run a small business. Who are you to think that you could do that? And, that made me feel like I wanted to shut down. And in some ways I did. Last week I was forcing myself to show up, and I was struggling to even set up my tripod. Some mundane task that usually takes very little energy at all to do. But for some reason I just couldn't do it. Because in my mind I was thinking, well, if I set up this tripod, what then? It's not like I have any ideas after that. And that internal voice just got so loud. So I ended up folding the tripod back up, and I finally accepted that I was burnt out, and that I needed to lower all of my expectations for my creative self, because it just wasn't there. I began to ask myself questions like, what are you doing to take care of yourself? I noticed I was putting myself aside again, which is something that I have always done in the past and something that I want to stop doing. So in doing so, I asked myself that hard question. You want to see change and you want things to be different, but what are you doing to make those changes happen? What am I doing to take care of myself? And my only answer was, honestly, Noah, you're not doing enough. It was kind of a different way of talking to myself. It was being real. Instead of just being like, you're burnt out, you're gonna be okay, it'll happen tomorrow. Just kind of like pushing it off to the side as if it wasn't really there, that it wasn't really a problem. When really, it's a big problem that creatives face. And it needs to be addressed so that you can recover and find a better way to handle burnout in the future. I could only really think of one reason why my creative well was dry. And I had just finished this piece here to my left side called Home. And I realized that I put a lot of energy into that piece, and I just wanted to get it done and kind of get it off my shoulders so I didn't have to think about it anymore. And in doing so, I completely dried out my creative well. And I never ever thought to replenish that supply. So once I was done with this piece, it was just kind of like, well, that's it. I don't know what else to do now because it's done. And I wasn't really thinking about that. After I realized that I wasn't really doing much for myself, I decided to do one of my favorite things, especially to get ideas, and go to YouTube. Because, it's got everything. And I had noticed that one of my favorite artists that actually inspired me to start doing these studio vlogs had just posted a video, not even an hour before I had found it, called "If You're Burnt Out, Watch This." And that artist is known as Apple Cheeks. She goes by Apple Cheeks, and her name is Tiffany, and she has really great content. You should definitely check her out and see what she's all about. She had talked about her own recent experience with burnout, but also what she was doing to take care of those feelings and to take care of herself and to recover from that burnout that she was experiencing. And in doing so, she mentioned a book that she was reading called The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. And it came out about, I think, 25 years. I think this year is celebrating like the 25th year of this book being out. And it's basically like a 12-week recovery for artists going through burnout. And it just kind of helps you get past that negative dialogue inside, that negative voice that tells you, you're not good enough, what makes you think you can do that? And just setting yourself aside from that as a creative and creating just to create, making art for art's sake. So she also mentioned some things that the book has her doing each day. And some of those things include daily writing, writing first thing in the morning, kind of draining your brain of any of that stuff between you and creativity. I know when I get up in the morning, my brain is kind of jumbled. I'm still kind of half asleep. I'm thinking about things that maybe I was thinking about the day before. I don't really have a fresh mindset yet because I'm just not there. And if I don't drain that, how am I supposed to see through that when it's time to create? So this exercise just kind of gets it all out so that there's nothing in your way when you need to create. But honestly, I needed to create some distance between me and that voice so that I could move forward and recover. Another thing that she mentioned in the book that kind of has helped and made her realize that she was putting this off, and it's definitely something I put off as well. It's called The Artist's Date. It's basically just like 2 hours a week that you take yourself out with no other guests, no pets, no friends, no family, just you and your creative self and all of creation around you. And you just like take it in, and you're there in that time and you're present, and it's supposed to be like kind of refreshing. Surely throughout the week we all have things that we would like to do, like go out for a walk or maybe go for a picnic, maybe even go down to the library. But it's really easy to not prioritize those things so that they never happen, and really you're pushing your creative self off when you're doing that. And the best way that I can really think about this is, what does a child need? A child needs attention, and a child needs to be nurtured. And I think that the same is true for our creative selves. That part of you needs to be nurtured, and it needs to be shown time and care. How can you expect it to show up for you when you don't show up for it? So that was something that I had to hold myself accountable for. But after I walked away from Tiffany's video yesterday, I realized that this book may be something that I want to be a part of as well. And that maybe it would help me recover and get me through to the other side. To the other side of that bad dialogue, the negative self-talk. Maybe it would just allow me to get back into my creative avenue. If it worked for her and so many other artists over the past 25 years, who's to say it won't work for me? So that's kind of where I'm at now. I've decided I'm going to give the book a go. It's, like I said before, it's about 12 weeks long, and it has weekly prompts, weekly readings, daily pages that you have to write out, as well as weekly art dates with yourself. It just gives you a whole type of thing to kind of be focused on. It's your recovery. It's taking that burnout seriously, not something to just push off and hope that gets better on itself, because that's insanity. I've been doing that for so long, and for some reason I expect a different result. But if I'm not doing anything different, how is it fair of me to expect something different from my creative self? It's not. I need to give it time. I need to give it energy. I need to nurture it. I need to cultivate it. And nobody's gonna do that for me. Nobody's gonna do that for you. You gotta do it for yourself. I've got to do it for myself. So that's the plan. Because I love art. It's always been there for me. And I feel bad when I can't be there for it. So if I can find tools that help me be there for it more often, and to help come back and bounce back from these burnout moments, and to just be nicer to myself, that's the plan. And I'm just really glad to have you along with me. This vlog has been a really big help in keeping me accountable, and just like being honest with myself about the things that I'm doing or not doing, and asking myself, why aren't you doing that? So it has been a really useful tool for me. Yeah, so this is it. This is the vlog. I just wanted to catch up and let you all know about kind of what's been going on, where I'm at, where I want to be, what I'm doing. I'm okay. I'm glad you're here. I hope you're doing okay. And I look forward to sharing more of my creative process with you all very soon. Sayonara!